All right, shalom, shalom. We are the real Hebrew Israelites coming day in and day out to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great, which is America. First off and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Karkadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone salutations to the elect, whoever you may be. Brother Shapaya, coming at you again with another quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Today's lesson, I pose a question. How do we know who the heathens are? And this is for you, NAZARAYAH. We can't pinpoint who Israel is, right? As far as the designated tribes, if you will. So how do we know who are the designated enemies? How? Now, Esau is easy. Of course, he came out red, whatever. But what about the Hamites? How do we know those are actual Hamites? Ammon, Moab. And give you a quick little history on that. Ammon and Moab got pushed east. And you can find that in certain history, man. They got pushed east, all right, via wars, okay? A different story for a different day. How do you know who Japhet is, all right? Or if those are the real Japhites, okay? So on and so forth, all right? The Philistines, Hagarenes, Ishmaelites, who else? The Midianites, Persians, things of that nature. How do you know all this? Well, how do we know all this? Well, I'll answer your question. It's through the Spirit. Just like through the Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we're the children of the Most High. Well, the Spirit has to bear witness with our spirit that these are the enemies of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and the enemies of Israel. It's spiritual. So you cannot be stuck on one side of the board and not talk about the flip side to it. That's just one way of seeing things. If you was in the courtroom, nigga, they'll throw that shit out. Because you cannot say this about this side, and yet you're not going to acknowledge the other side. It says never trust thy enemies in the scriptures, right? Well, how the hell are we going to do that if we don't know who our enemies is? Because by you saying that we don't know if Judah are the Negroes of America, Benjamin, the West, so on and so forth. And I'm going to tell you this, we're scattered abroad, all right? We're scattered abroad. And I'm telling you this, all the other nations are scattered too. But the only difference is they actually have their certain amount of land, all right? You have fucking Moabites over here in America. You have Philistines over there in fucking Asia, so on and so forth. But how do you pinpoint them? All right? And all this is through the Spirit. And this is a question I pose to you. Because obviously after taking a year off, you still stuck on the same things. If you take... which a lot of you guys scoff this scripture. And I don't understand how you scoff a scripture. Well, I do understand, but you know what I mean. What's the sign? What's the end sign? The two sticks. Ezekiel 37:15. The word of Yahweh came to me again, saying, moreover, son of man, take one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel and his companions, and take another stick and write upon it for Joseph and the stick of Ephraim for all the house of Israel and his command and his companions, and join them one another to one stick, that they should become one stick. All right, one people, right? But everything's a signet, a sign, right, for the future to come. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Thou shalt say unto them, thus saith Yahweh thy power, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel and his fellows, and put them with him, even the stick of Judah and him, and make them one stick, and they should be one in my hand. So one nation, right? And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thy hand before their eyes. And saying to them, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they should be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. Has that happened yet? No, the Lord is doing that now, because we knew that we were Israelites back during this time. Okay? So this stick was a representation of today, starting in the late 60s. All right? That's prophecy. So the fact that you're just denouncing it is crazy. Now, whether you believe or not, Judah is the actual Negro, so on and so forth, all right, there has to be an identifier. That's why we have Deuteronomy 28. Only certain groups, only certain nations fit under that. And we could go into history. The triangular slave trade. From Portugal to the west coast of Africa, over here to the West Indies and the Americas. What people were dwelling in those lands at that time? And even before then, we were already scattered. But let's think about it. The indigenous of Americas, both North and South, all right? You had, Moors, Morenos coming from Portugal, Spain. First slaves came from there. Then you had the West Coast, all right, where you had Israelites that fled from Roman persecution into those lands. All right, hell, you still had, during the Gospels, you still had a northern kingdom over there. All right, but predominantly, most of them was over here in the Americas. What group of people that was? You can actually pinpoint them today. And I'm not saying every fucking Mexican, Negro, wobbly bam is an Israelite, because you have tears. All right, that's the other flip side. But predominantly, all right, those people that come from those certain triangular areas are the 12 tribes, no matter how you want to put it, my man. No matter how you want to put it. And that's historical. Chronicle, if you will. I guess that's your word of the week, Nazariah. All right? But how? And then this is a legit, real-ass question. With that, I'm going to say all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, by Shem Shai, by Shem Rakar Kadash, double honors to the other apostles of Great Millstone, salutations to the elect, wherever you may be. Ball.